In August 1996, Charles hired Mark Bolland and gave him one instruction: make people see Mrs. Parker Bowles through my eyes. 15 steps to erase Diana. Every one documented. Tom Bauer exposed it. The BBC confirmed it. Harry called it putrid under oath. They labeled her unstable. They planted stories about her sons. They rewrote the affair as a love story. I'm revealing 15 steps. From the secret meeting with Blair's spin doctor, to the night they leaked William's private life, to the step that backfired completely. Step 10. Harry described it under oath. And 15, Diana won. It starts with the hire. Number 1, the hire. In August 1996, Charles brought Mark Bolland into St. James's Palace. Former director of the Press Complaints Commission, well connected across Fleet Street. And Charles gave him one job. ABC News published the exact instruction. The press has been terribly cruel to her. I want you to make people see Mrs. Parker Bowles through my eyes. Think about that. Not help me serve the public better, not protect my sons. Make the press love Camilla. That was the mission. The entire operation that followed, every planted story, every leaked detail, every smear, traces back to this one hire. Bolland later won PR Week's Professional of the Year award in 2001 for his work. The PR industry celebrated what Diana's sons would later call a campaign to destroy their mother's legacy. He didn't hire a communications director. He hired a reputation architect, and the first thing that architect needed to demolish was Diana. Charles hired the architect, but the blueprint, the actual strategy for how to rebuild Camilla by dismantling Diana, came from someone even more powerful. Step 2 happened at a secret lunch. Number 2, the blueprint. In late May 1997, 3 months before Diana's death, Camilla, Charles, and Bolland sat down for a secret lunch at Highgrove with Peter Mandelson, Tony Blair's chief image consultant. ABC News confirmed it. Mandelson mapped out a strategy for Charles to win back the hearts and minds of his people, and for Camilla to make herself acceptable as Diana's replacement. I need you to hear this clearly. The Prime Minister's top spin doctor sat at a private table with the future king and his mistress and designed a plan to replace Diana in the public's affection. This wasn't gossip. This was government-level image engineering. 3 months before Diana died in Paris, the people who would benefit most from her absence were already planning the public relations campaign that would follow. I'm not saying they planned what happened. I'm saying the plan was ready. A secret lunch, the Prime Minister's spin doctor, a strategy to replace Diana, 3 months before she died. That's not a coincidence. That's a countdown. The blueprint was drawn, but the first weapon they aimed at Diana, the very first step of Operation PB, was a single word, and they used it like a scalpel. Number 3, the label. Tom Bauer's book Rebel Prince documented the first tactical decision. The first hurdle, they agreed, was to demythologize Diana by portraying her as a manipulative hysteric. Stay with me on this. That wasn't an observation. That was a strategy document. Demythologize. Manipulative, hysteric. 3 words chosen in a meeting room, designed to dismantle a woman's credibility before she could speak. Diana said it herself on Panorama to 54 million viewers. They suggested I should be put in a home of some sort in order to get better. I was almost an embarrassment. She named the tactic on camera to the world, years before Bauer confirmed it in print. They called her diagnosis from a meeting room. She called their strategy from a television studio. Manipulative hysteric. Those weren't insults. They were strategy. Chosen in a meeting, written on a plan, aimed at a woman who was telling the truth. The label was planted, but they needed a delivery system. Someone to put the diagnosis into the public record without Charles's fingerprints on it. Step 4 was the book they commissioned to do exactly that. Number 4, the rewrite. Bauer documented that Penny Junor recast her book to portray the princess as an unbalanced and unfaithful wife, suffering from borderline personality disorder, who had compelled Charles to return to his true love. Let That Land, a published biography, framing Diana as mentally ill, framing the affair as Charles being forced back to Camilla by Diana's instability, not his choice, her fault, the victim rewritten as the cause, and Charles's office quietly supported the distribution. The message was clear. Diana was clinically unwell. Charles was the patient husband driven back to his real love. The affair wasn't a betrayal, it was a rescue. That was the narrative they built, and they put it in hardback. They didn't just smear her, they published the smear in a book. With a medical diagnosis Diana never received from a doctor, they put it in print. The book reframed the marriage, but the next step, the one that shocked even palace insiders, involved Charles's own sons. And it happened less than 10 months after Diana died. Number 5, the sons. I want to get to step 10, what Harry described under oath. But first this. The Daily Beast reported in 2015 that less than 10 months after Diana's death, when William was 16 and Harry 13, Bolland began leaking stories about the princes to the press on behalf of their father. The BBC documentary Reinventing the Royals confirmed it. Royal correspondent Charles Ray of The Sun identified Bolland as the source. Sandy Henney, Charles's former press secretary, said William was understandably really upset because it was private. Does that sound like a grieving father, using his own sons, months after their mother's funeral, as media currency to improve his image? William was 16. Harry was 13. Still in school uniforms, still waking up without their mother, and their father's office was feeding their private moments to journalists. Their mother had been dead for 10 months, and their father's PR man was leaking their private lives to tabloids to make him look good while they were still grieving. He used his sons. But the next 3 steps, 6, 7, and 8, are where Bolland systematically introduced Camilla to the public, the royals, and the press. Each one was carefully staged. Number 6, the photograph. January 1999. The Ritz Hotel, London. Bolland engineered the first public photograph of Charles and Camilla together, carefully staged. Camilla stepping out of the hotel, Charles beside her. Press invited. The image ran on every front page in Britain. After years of secrecy, this was the official announcement. She's here, she's staying. Get used to it. Timed precisely. Diana had been dead for 17 months. Bolland calculated that was long enough. The image was designed to look spontaneous. Just a couple leaving a party. But every detail was choreographed. The lighting, the angle, the timing. Sandy Henney, Charles's former press secretary, called Bolland a brilliant manipulator in the BBC documentary. She said, he got the result that he wanted. The photograph announced her. But the next step took the campaign international, to a city Diana had owned. Number 7, the Manhattan Test, September 1999. Bolland sent Camilla to New York, what Sally Bedell Smith called Diana's territory. Bolland described it as a testing ground for public opinion, Manhattan, where Diana had been photographed in white gowns, celebrated at galas, adored by American media. Camilla walked the same streets, attended the same circles. The message was surgical. Diana's city belongs to Camilla now. They sent her to New York, where Diana wore the white gowns and walked the galas. 2 years after her death, Camilla walked those same streets. That wasn't a visit. That was a territorial claim. Manhattan tested the public, but the real target was the Queen. And getting Camilla into the same room as the monarch was the step that changed everything. Number 8, the Queen meeting, June 2000. Bolland and Charles's private secretary, Stephen Lamport, engineered Camilla's first meeting with the Queen. The Times reported it marked the culmination of 3 years' work by Bolland and Lamport, who had worked tirelessly on the public rehabilitation of Prince Charles and Parker Bowles. After this meeting, the Times noted, Camilla lost the word mistress in press coverage. She became companion, then partner, then girlfriend. Each upgrade carefully timed, each one moving the public one step further from mistress and one step closer to wife. The language shift wasn't organic, it was engineered, word by word, year by year. And remember, we haven't reached step 10 yet. Harry's testimony under oath, that's coming. The Queen meeting legitimized her. But the next step is where the plan turned its weapons directly on Diana's memory. Not her reputation while alive, but her legacy after death. Number 9, the memory erasure. After Diana's death, Operation PB accelerated. No, accelerated is too gentle. It went into overdrive. The goal shifted from make Camilla acceptable alongside Diana to make Diana fade so Camilla can replace her. Bauer documented it. Friendly journalists received briefings framing Diana as erratic. Unfriendly journalists were frozen out. Her charity work was quietly deprioritized in palace communications. Her image was managed, contained, diminished. The institutional machinery that Diana said had always worked against her continued working against her after she was gone. The woman who couldn't answer back, the woman who couldn't correct the record, the woman whose sons were too young to fight for her. They didn't stop when she died. The campaign continued after her death, against a woman who couldn't defend herself anymore. That tells you who they are. The memory erasure ran for years, but step 10 is the moment a member of the royal family named the strategy. Under oath in a courtroom with cameras rolling. Number 10, the testimony. In 2023, Prince Harry testified under oath in a lawsuit against Mirror Group newspapers. He identified Bolland as the spin doctor behind what he called a putrid strategy, one that sacrificed the princes to elevate Camilla above Diana's legacy. He named the most cited example, the January 13, 2002 News of the World article revealing Harry's admission of smoking cannabis at Eton. Harry said it was leaked by Charles's own office, traded to the press to generate a favorable narrative about Charles as a concerned father who sent his son to rehab. The story made Charles look caring. It humiliated his 17-year-old son. A father trading his child's worst moment for a headline. That's Operation PB in one sentence. I need to slow down here. Diana's son, under oath, in a British courtroom, naming his father's PR operation as a calculated campaign to destroy his mother's reputation and elevate Camilla, using Harry himself as ammunition. Diana's son said it, under oath, putrid strategy. Those are Harry's words in a courtroom, not tabloid gossip. Sworn testimony, 10 steps, each one documented, but the last 5 are where the plan reached its final stage. The wedding, the title, the coronation, and step 15 is where it all collapsed. We're almost there. Harry named it in court. But the campaign's ultimate goal, making Camilla Charles's wife, required one more move, getting his son's reluctant blessing. Number 11, the wedding. Harry wrote in Spare, "Despite Willie and me urging him not to, Pa was going ahead. We pumped his hand, wished him well. No hard feelings." April 2005. Charles married Camilla. His sons asked him not to. He did it anyway. The woman Diana named as the third person in her marriage stood at the altar in Windsor Castle while Diana's sons watched. Time magazine confirmed Harry's account. He and William both urged their father not to go through with it. Charles overrode them both, a father choosing the woman who broke his first marriage over the wishes of the sons who lost their mother because of it. His sons begged him not to marry her. He did it anyway, and they stood there, watching. That's the picture Operation PB never wanted you to see. The wedding happened despite his sons. But the next step, changing her title, was the move that proved the plan was never about love. It was about legacy. Number 12, the title upgrade. In early 2023, Charles quietly dropped the word consort from Camilla's title. She went from Queen Consort, the term Elizabeth herself had endorsed, to Queen Camilla, the full title, the title Diana was supposed to carry. Charles made that decision unilaterally. He gave the woman who broke Diana's marriage the title Diana was denied. He gave her Diana's title, the one Diana was told she'd never have, the one Camilla took by default. That wasn't an honor, that was a theft. The title was taken. But the coronation, the final legitimization, was the step designed to close the chapter on Diana forever. Number 13, the coronation, May 6, 2023, Westminster Abbey. Camilla was anointed, crowned, and seated on a throne beside Charles. Over £100 million spent. The Archbishop placed a crown on the head of the woman Diana called the third person in her marriage. the most expensive legitimization project in modern royal history, designed to make the substitution permanent, designed to declare Diana is over, Camilla is queen, the chapter is closed, move on. But here's what they miscalculated. You can crown a person, you can seat them on a throne, you can spend £100 million on pageantry, but you cannot force a country to forget the woman it loved. And that's exactly what Step 14 proves. The coronation declared the substitution complete, but the public had a different verdict. And Step 14 is the number that proves the plan failed. Number 14, the rejection. Ipsos polled 1,080 British adults in April 2025. Only 23% said Queen Camilla, 30% preferred Queen Consort, 17% said no title at all. We're almost at 15, the step that proves Diana won. 20 years of Operation PB, millions of pounds, hundreds of planted stories, a coronation, a title upgrade, secret lunches with the Prime Minister's spin doctor. And after all of it, 77% of Britain still hasn't accepted the substitution. 20 years, millions of pounds, and 23%. That's their number. That's what Operation PB bought them. Diana's memory is worth more than all they spent. You cannot buy love, and you cannot buy the absence of love either. The public rejected the plan. But the final step, the proof that Diana won despite 15 years of institutional warfare, is the evidence that can never be erased. Number 15, the backfire. And 15, the final step, the one that proves everything they did failed. Diana's statue stands at Kensington Palace, unveiled July 2021. Her sapphire ring is on Kate's hand. Charlotte Elizabeth Diana, her name inscribed in the line of succession. Her funeral drew 2.5 billion viewers. Her name trends every August 31st. The Crown brought her story to 73 million Netflix households. Morton's book has been reprinted continuously since 1992. The tapes Diana recorded in 1991 are still broadcast in documentaries. Harry called the campaign "PUTRID under oath" in 2023. And only 23% of Britons accept the title Queen Camilla. The operation that was supposed to make the world forget Diana made the world remember her more. 15 steps, everyone documented, everyone designed to erase Diana and elevate Camilla, and every single one backfired. The statue proves it, the ring proves it, the name proves it, the polling proves it. Diana was not erasable. She was the foundation, and everything they built on top of her removal is crumbling. Because you cannot build a monarchy on the lie that Diana didn't matter. Not punishment, not revenge. You're watching truth. That's all this is. 15 steps, 15 years, and Diana's statue stands at the palace. Her ring is on Kate's hand. Her name is in the succession. They tried to erase her. She became permanent. That is justice. Diana always said she'd fight to the end. She's still fighting, and she's still winning. 15 steps Charles and Camilla took to destroy Diana's reputation, and the full plan is finally exposed. But there's one strategy Camilla is still running right now, a final attempt to secure her legacy before William takes the throne. And it's this. She's betting that if she stays close enough to William, he won't have the heart to dismantle what she built. But William already proved that theory wrong, 15 times over. If you want to see the 15 things Camilla is begging Charles to guarantee before he dies, and why William hasn't committed to a single one, that video is right here.